Aloha and welcome to the Aquarian Radio Network at aquarianradio.com. And today we are featuring an episode of Enki Speaks. I am your host, Janet Kara Lesson, with my co-host, anthropologist Dr. Sasha Lesson. Today our program is a part of the Anunnaki and Us, 30 chapters of our history, which start 4.5 billion years ago to 311 BCE. Today's episode is Chapter 17, Marduk and Astronauts Allied with Earthlings. Marduk betrothed hybrid Sarpanit. And now we bring aboard Dr. Sasha Lesson.
Yes, for you to sort of orient yourself in where we are in the story. Last time we saw that Marduk, who had once been in line to be king of Nibiru, and then he got aced out by another faction, got a job on Earth as head of the astronaut base on Mars. But then there was one of the nearings of Nibiru ruined Mars base, and Marduk lost his job. And he's a very ambitious man, and his father, Enki, the smartest of the Nibirians, said he would actually help him become a ruler, perhaps of Earth and maybe even of Nibiru, and basically pledged his covert, at least, help in Marduk attaining that, or at least getting a turn at that. And so this is the background. Now, Marduk really solidifies and commits himself to us human beings. He says he's going to marry one of the especially enhanced hybrids that descended from Enki's children, TT and Adapa. He wants to marry Sarpanit. She's way up there with close to the Anunnaki, and she's an adapted human like all of us, but she's got a lot of Anunnaki in her. And so back on Nibiru, the king and his council say, hey, this is our chance to really get rid of Marduk, so he won't come back, and he won't raise armies of Earthlings and so forth. Yes, Marduk, we will allow you to marry Sarpanit, but you may never return to Nibiru. You're now on Earth, and that's how it goes. So that's where we get to this story. So they're going to the commander says, okay, it's Enlil, says, Marduk and Sarpanit, you can wed. He ordered the couple, however, after the ceremony at Eridu, that's Enki's place on the Persian Gulf, he ordered Marduk and Sarpanit to retire to Egypt. And from now on, Egypt would be where Marduk could rule, and he would stay within Enki's general area of Africa. A great multitude of civilized Earthlings, as they called the Adapites, in Eridu assembled. Young Igigi, astronauts from Mars in great numbers, came. Inana, Enlil's granddaughter, flirted with Enki's son, Dumuzi, oblivious that the Igigi had planned to seize power for Marduk. When Sarpanit and Marduk left for Egypt, every one of these Igigi astronauts grabbed one of these beautiful Earthling women. And they took the women back to Lebanon. They took them, quotes, into a stronghold, the place they made. Shamgaz, their leader, radioed Enlil, bless our Earthling marriages, or by fire, all on Earth shall we destroy. Well, Marduk, their commander, also demanded that Enlil stop calling the Igigi captive unions abductions and just say they are marriages, please. You got to recognize them. Well, Enlil fumed, but he didn't press the issue. But, quote, things against Marduk and his Earthlings was Enlil plotting.
Marduk settled some of the Igigi and the families they created, which were called the children of the rocket ships, in Babylon. He and Sarpanit stayed with other Igigi Adapite families in Lebanon. By 100,000 years ago, some of these children of the rocket ships settled in the far east lands of high mountains. Some of Shamgaz's men prepared to man the interplanetary launch platform Marduk said he would build in Babylon. Skirmishes and the like of destructive war grew between Enki's and Enlil's lineages. Then their darlings decided to marry. Enkiite and Enlilite elders hoped that if Enki's son Dumuzi wed Enlil's granddaughter Inana, rivalry between their lineages might stop. Perchance the espousing peace between the lineages truly will bring, Enlil to them did say. He ordered the Indus Valley developed as a dowry for Inanna and Dumuzi. Dumuzi had gone with Digashita and her hybrid half-brother Adapa to Nibiru. Dumuzi returned to Earth with Adapa with sheep and goats. Enki made Dumuzi, now his favorite son, boss of Africa's domestic herds and herdsmen.
Jealous, Marduk plotted Dumuzi's death. Marduk sent his sister Geshtiniana to Inanna. To her, Inanna revealed, quotes, "A vision of great nation I have. As a great Anunnaki, Dumuzi there shall rise. His queen's spouse I shall be. To Dumuzi I will status give. The country I will rightly direct." Inanna's visions of rulership and glory by Geshtiniana to her brother Marduk were reported, and by Inanna's ambitions, Marduk was greatly disturbed. To Geshtiniana, a secret plan, he said, "Go to Dumuzi." And Geshtiniana then did what she was told, as Marduk had rehearsed her. Geshtiniana went to Dumuzi and said, "Before your young wife in your embrace will sleep," she meant Inanna, "a legitimate heir, by a sister born," that was her, because that's what you needed to be successful and succeed in the Enki lineages, you must have. So she's saying, before you get together with Inanna, you should sleep with me and try to make a baby with me, and that will block Inanna's son from succession. Well, so after Inanna got Dumuzi to ejaculate in her, she then panicked him. She said, "Marduk of raping me will accuse you. Evil emissaries to arrest you he will send. To try you and disgrace you he will order. The liaison with an Enlilite to disunite. He won't be able to marry Inanna." Well, Dumuzi fled to hide behind a waterfall, but he slipped into the rapids and he drowned in Lake Victoria. Gibbel fished Dumuzi from the lake and brought him to Inanna's sister, Ereshkigal, in South Africa.
Inanna flew to her sister's station, Ereshkigal's station, at Cape Agulhas, where Gibbel left Dumuzi's body. Ereshkigal stopped her husband Nergal and Inanna. No way would she let them breed an heir to Dumuzi's fief. Ereshkigal knew Inanna came to Agulhas for Levirate. For Levirate, a brother, Nergal, Dumuzi's brother in this case, of the man who died, impregnates his dead brother's wife. The child they begat succeeds the dead brother. But Inanna hated Dumuzi's eldest brother Marduk, who made Dumuzi die. She wanted to kill, not have sex with Marduk. Not funny. That's a funny word.
Don't read another
Don't read another word. She still wanted to carry a child for the dead Dumuzi, a child through whom she could rule northeast Africa. So Inanna sought Dumuzi's next oldest brother, Nergal, Ereshkigal's mate, as Dumuzi's stand-in to beget a child with her. Inanna would, through Nergal and the boy that they would beget, rule in Africa despite Dumuzi's death, and their son would inherit Dumuzi's realms in northeast Africa, and she, as regent, Inanna as regent, would usurp Ereshkigal in Africa. Quote, of scheming an heir by Nergal, Dumuzi's brother, Inanna was accused. Well, she was doing that, it's true.
Well, when Inanna got to Ereshkigal's place, Ereshkigal first barred her entry. When Inanna forced her way in, Ereshkigal disarmed her and hung her on a stake to die. And die she did. But from the clay of Abzu, Enki 2 emissaries fashioned, beings without blood, by death rays unharmed, to lower Abzu, South Africa, he sent them, Inana to bring back. Upon the corpse, the clay emissaries, a pulsar and an emitter directed. Then the water of life on her they sprinkled. In her mouth, the plant of life they placed. Then the dead Inanna arose. Inanna then took Dumuzi's body to Sumer, Iraq, had him mummified so he could rejoin her on Nibiru, since she said, Nibiran gods live forever. Well, that's it for this. Just note that at sort of at the end of this period, around 5400 BCE, 1000 BCE, I mean, Enki begat Ziasudra with Batanash, the wife of his overseer in Iraq, Lumarch. But that's another story.
All right, so that's our next chapter is all about Noah's flood. And this has been an episode of the series, The Anunnaki and Us, 30 Chapters of Our History, which is a part of our radio series called Enki Speaks. And I am your host, Janet Carolison. Wait, one more thing. Our books, we have a number of books. We have Anunnaki Gods No More, and Anunnaki Legacy of the Gods, and Dance of the Souls. Book 1 is Pierce the Veil. These books are all available on Amazon.com, and we are the authors, Janet Kira Lesson and Sasha Lesson, PhD. I think is how it's listed. But you can find links, and I'm going to be adding more links to these books on our various websites, and our websites are enkispeaks.com, which is ENKISPEAKS.com, aquarianradio.com, and we also have extraterrestrialcontact.com, and I have a site that I'm working on called nimma.com. And let's see what else. We have Experiencers Network, if you have had experiences with paranormal and extraterrestrial phenomena, experiencersnetwork.com. And you may write to us anytime at aquarianradio@gmail.com. Anything else I need to add?
No, that's all. Thanks for listening.
So much love and aloha and blessings. This has been Janet Carol Lesson and
Dr. Sasha Lesson. Aloha.
Broadcasting live from Maui, Hawaii. Aloha.